Welcome to a presentation on the similarities and differences of three major instructional design models: the ADDIE model, the Inter-Services Procedures for Instructional Systems Development model, and the Dick and Carey model. We will begin this presentation with a brief overview of each model and a top-level comparison of the three models. Then, using a sample lesson from Discovery Education's website, we will show in what ways the models are similar and in what ways they are different in the design process.
The ADDIE model is composed of 5 steps. Analysis. Identify the learner, what they should know after the lesson, and what type of environment they'll be learning in. Design. Identify the lesson content and how it will be delivered. Development. Create the content, assignments, and assessments. Implementation. Initiate instruction and ask for feedback early on. Evaluation. Evaluate whether or not students achieved expected learning outcomes and revise lesson as needed.
The different stages of the Dick and Carey model can be combined into 5 major steps. Step 1. Identify the learner, the environment in which they'll be learning, and the overall goal you expect them to know. Step 2. Identify the major steps in your lesson first, and then break down each major step into sub-steps. Step 3. Using your major steps, write a performance objective and assessment questions. The performance objective is what the learner will do to complete the identified major step. Step 4. List all instructional strategies used, such as pre-instructional activities, content, learner participation, evaluations, and follow-up activities. Step 5. Evaluate the design using feedback from the subject matter experts and learners from the target audience. Revise based on feedback.
The Inter-Service Procedures for Instructional Systems Development model, or IPISD model, includes the following steps. Analyze. Analyze a job and the specific tasks or functions associated with it. Determine how job performance will be measured. Design. Define objectives, assessment, entry behaviors, and the overall flow or sequencing of the lesson. Develop. Develop learning activities, delivery medium, materials list, and procedures. Test what's been developed so far on a small group of learners. Implement. Conduct instruction. Control. Conduct both internal and external evaluations. Make revisions based on feedback.
All three models are similar in that they include systematic approaches which follow a very similar variation of the stages of analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. All three of these models can be used to design instruction in any field, but each model follows a different order and establishes different priorities. Let's do a top-level comparison of the three models.
The greatest area of contrast between all three models is in which stage objectives are constructed. The ADDIE model includes objective construction in the analysis stage. The Dick and Carey model, on the other hand, provides an entirely additional stage to write objectives. This additional stage is dependent on the analysis stage, which is similar to the analysis stage in the ADDIE model. The IPISD model pushes the construction of objectives to the design stage after constructing performance measures and analyzing contextual background in the analysis stage. The same situation can be found in determining the entry-level behaviors of the audience or learners. Dick and Carey differs from both ADDIE and IPISD models by analyzing entry-level behaviors in the analysis stage rather than in the design stage, as the other two models do. The development and implementation stages are very similar between the ADDIE and IPISD models, both coming successively to the design stage and before the evaluation or control stage. These stages are different from the Dick and Carey model, which really couples these two stages into 3 development stages. Evaluation is really the difference maker among the 3 models. The ADDIE and IPISD models both have a summative evaluation stage, which then either directs the maintenance of instruction or the need to revise any given stage of the entire process. This summative stage is naturally found at the end of the model. The ADDIE model also includes a formative evaluation during the implementation stage, which may or may not direct the model to revise one or more of the preceding stages. The Dick and Carey model includes both summative and formative evaluations. The Dick and Carey model includes a summative evaluation at the end of the model, but it also includes formative evaluations at each stage, which may or may not redirect the model for revision.
Now that we've compared and contrasted the models at a top-level view, let's take a sample lesson plan and apply the steps of each instructional design model. Our sample lesson is titled Technology at Work, designed for students in grades 3 through 5. In this lesson, students are expected to define what technology is and then work together in small groups using research collected from in-class materials and the Internet to make a timeline of major technological developments. The steps for designing the Technology at Work lesson are listed here for each of the different models. Each model can be broken down into 5 main steps. So let's walk through each step and take a look at the similarities and differences. In Step 1, all 3 models select the environment in which the lesson will be taught. Additionally, both ADDIE and the Dick and Carey models select the audience. The ADDIE is the only model where objectives are defined in Step 1. The IPISD model is different from the other 2 in that it begins with analyzing the learner's job responsibilities and then designing instruction around what they must know to perform their job successfully. This step is more applicable in a work setting than a school setting. In Step 2, one similarity between the ADDIE and the Dick and Carey model is that at this point, the details of what is actually going to be taught have been defined. Whereas in Step 2 of the IPISD model, the process is still more top-level and the details of instruction are developed in Step 3. In Step 3 of the ADDIE model, course content and materials are already in development. In the Dick and Carey model, this does not happen until Step 4. Although both the Dick and Carey and the IPISD models involve defining performance objectives, the Dick and Carey model defines them in Step 3 and the IPISD model defines them in Step 1. In Step 3 of the IPISD model, it is similar to the ADDIE model in that instructional content is being developed and additional materials necessary for the lesson are being identified. However, in the IPISD, Step 3 includes the additional task of conducting the lesson with a sample population. In Step 4, both the ADDIE and the IPISD models implement instruction. However, the ADDIE model solicits feedback at this point, whereas the IPISD model solicited feedback in Step 3. Unlike the other 2 models, the Dick and Carey model involves creating the first draft of instructional materials in Step 4, and then doing a rigorous evaluation and revision of the materials in Step 5 before they are presented to the learner. Both the ADDIE and IPISD models involved instruction in Step 4, and now move on to formal evaluations of the lesson in Step 5. At this point, the instructor looks at the course with a critical eye and makes changes based on learner outcomes and feedback from others. In Step 5 of the Dick and Carey model, the instructor presents the lesson to 3 different audiences for evaluation: a subject matter expert, which in this case would most likely be another teacher, a single learner, and a small group of learners from the target audience. Upon completion of Step 5, the lesson is ready for the student.
Overall, the instructional design models are all similar in their fundamental composition, with each including the 5 major stages of analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation in some shape or form. However, as presented here, many differences can be found at the various stages of each model. The importance and emphasis on formative evaluation at each stage in the Dick and Carey model is the ultimate difference between the 3 models. By the time a lesson is presented to the learner, it has been thoroughly evaluated and revised. The Dick and Carey model caters best to the needs of the learner and is therefore our choice for the superior instructional design model.